Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the third match here with Jeskai Saheeli. We won the die roll once more, so we would love to play first. Thank you so much. As you can see, I took a shower, got dressed, drank some water, so I'm feeling much better now. And let's kill it. That's a tricky hand, right? Because Spreading Seas might not be great in this matchup, like if we're up against Merfolk or something, you know, just off the top of my head. But we still have some type of interaction. And I think on the play, Spreading Seas is really good, especially against a deck that doesn't do anything turn one. So I'm going to keep. It's a bit risky. Definitely doesn't have all the pieces I would want it to, but let's go ahead and start here. We'll probably lead on Sacred Foundry. But we'll find out what our opponent is revving up there. Alright, so they're shocking. Thoughtseize? Thoughtseize. Let's just go ahead and make this... Oh, I probably should have waited, but they probably know if there are any... I guess I could have waited on that. Like, they could go, like, cycle 4 times, play 2 hollowed ones, right? And we'd want a shock path. So I don't know. They're probably taking one of these Spreading Seas. Unless they have a very land-heavy hand, then they might ignore these. But I think these cards here pose the most problem for my opponent. I'm seeing our opponent going to 16. Like, we attack from so many different angles with Saheeli that I don't even mind, like, my opponent's life total dropping. So, like, I think that's pretty good. Ooh, Snapcaster Mage is actually a pretty good draw. I mean, I don't know what we're up against yet. Another land is great, so we're not missing land drops. Maybe we can have Feldar to flicker the Spreading Seas to gain some value. This could be Grixis Shadow. This could be anything. This could be Jund, Shadow. What are the decks? I don't know. Stuff. Could be Red, Black, Blood Moon, Pack Rat, you know. Who the hell knows? Alright, so our opponent has another land, which is good for them. We're going to go ahead and F6 this turn, so we got nothing. Lightning Bolt, I guess, is not a bad draw. Would have been nice to maybe, like, slam a Saheeli here. Our opponent does not fetch. Interesting. Are they stuck on 2 lands, maybe? I don't think they mulliganed. Alright, so they're shocked. They're fetching now. Let's see what... Alright, so they have a land. They're going to play like a Young Peasy. Yeah, that's fine. Inquisition. That's pretty good. They probably take Snapcaster Mage here. Yeah, I'm gonna say okay. Because if they will be, I'm gonna test them. Because if they take Bolt, then I'm gonna snap Bolt at end of turn. So either way, I'm probably gonna be bolting this in some way or another. But I just want to see, give my opponent the opportunity to make a mistake. All right, so they don't make a mistake. So let's go ahead and finish that off here. The question is, are they playing Blood Moon? They might be, so I don't think there's any reason to fetch yet, especially because we also want to find another land. So we don't want to thin our deck from lands. Now, however, might be a good time to... I'm actually going to get an island off of this. My opponent could have Kolaghan's Command, which may have been an argument to just Path to Exile. Alright, bunch of Faithless Lootings. Bunch of Fatal Pushes. So let's snip this. And we're probably taking that Dreadbore here. Because currently they have no way of killing this click, and it could go all the way. Of course, any fetch, Faceless Looting lets them dig through a bunch of cards. So, but the thing is, they're constrained on mana. They can't do this like infinitely because they have one more colored source available. All right, so that's one less Faceless Looting. And what's good is our opponent doesn't have gas. You could argue that Faithless Looting is gas, and it is in a sense. But ultimately, I think we can grind through this, assuming we draw some good cards. What did they discard here? They discarded their other looting. So we only know our opponent has 2 Fatal Pushes and 2 Unknowns. We're not blocking. We're going to force them to play the fetch and Fatal Push us. Yeah. As expected. So now Dispel doesn't really, because they have 2 Fatal Pushes, they didn't discard either one. They're going to go for it right now, again, which makes a lot of sense. Aha, so they are Mardu, which I suspected. All right. Interesting. All right, so we'd love to find another land here. But at least we know our opponent's sitting on a Fatal Push plus 2. I guess they have Faithless Looting now to start digging through their deck. Yeah. And let's see what they discard here. That'll give us some information about our hand, or about their hand. So Path to Exiles could be useful. So they discarded another looting and an Arid Mesa. So we know they still have Fatal Push. They have a Thoughtseize, Inquisition. Yeah, that's our hand is pretty redundant here. They could take the Dispel and leave us with 2 paths. They could take a path and leave us with a Dispel. Yeah, they take the Dispel because that can shut off. All right, so they haven't. So we know their hand is just a Fatal Push. So if we can find a land, it's not a land, but at least our opponent's not really doing anything, right? But these Faithless Lootings are allowing them to not only get ahead and make sure they hit their land drops, but just pure card selection. Like, that's very valuable in the late game when you have all this mana to use. You can turn all your dead draws into useful cards. So by the way that they've been tapping their Sacred Foundry, I don't actually think that moving Spreading Seas. But then again, they already have 2 black sources, so maybe just moving, like, once we play Feldar Guardian, we can move the Spreading Seas over to the Sacred Foundry, and I guess that just cuts them off of white. But again, with the way that they've been tapping it, it might not be too useful to their game plan at all. So I'm not quite sure. Looks like our opponent has a tough decision here. So they have one. Let's see. They discarded Fatal Push and Inquisition, which means that their hand is probably pretty good. All right, that's a Plains. I'm going to go ahead and play the Guardian. We don't have Dispel backup, so I'd rather just get that card draw going. And I'll cut them off of white here. I don't know how useful that's going to be, but they already have 2 black sources. And that's another Feldar Guardian at least, so. Let's see, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they can play a Bedlam Reveler at this point. So now at least this forces Lingering Souls to be only cast from the graveyard, at least for now. I'm going to take the 1 here. I'm not going to block. It's the way they discarded Fatal Push, they probably drew another one, so I'm just going to take the hit here. There's really no reason. You could have another young Pyromancer here, which would be pretty annoying. Young Pyromancer, sure. 1, 2, 3, Liliana? Do they play Lilianas? K-Command? Oh, just Faithless Looting. Sure, that makes sense. So I believe we have 0 information on their hand at this point, so no. I believe that's the last Faithless Looting. So now our opponent's playing off the top of their deck, just naturally. Wow, that's pretty scary. Like, what could our... Oh. Well, if you insist. I mean, our opponent could be playing like Gut Shot or Slaughter Pact. I am not going to play around that, though. Hey, when you're playing against Splinter Twin, you know, you just can't tap out. All right, well, our opponent's not conceding, so I'm gonna go through this, but I'll probably edit this out. All right, that should be enough if I did my math correctly. And our opponent should go to exactly 0. Exactsies, right? All right. Let's go to the game 2. All right. I like Verdict here. I like Anger here. Helix, although is not great against the Lingering Souls plan, it's still good against the young Pyromancer plan. Jace seems fantastic here. Rest in Peace also seems like a great card. Purge is interesting. I think I'd like to bring it in here. Again, this is going to be quite a grindy matchup. So, remands are kind of just okay here. I don't like them too much. They hit the Faithless Lootings, but just on the flashback, really. They hit the Lingering Souls on the flashback. I don't like Click here all that much. They have a lot of removal. Their hands are pretty redundant. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. We can cut a... Snapcast made, like, okay, if we draw Rest in Peace, I mean... Yeah, I think Rest in Peace is worth it. It's tricky, but I think it's worth it. We can cut some pieces of the combo. We can cut one of each. We can just try to grind our opponent out. And maybe cut the Dispel. It's pretty good against like K commands though. So I don't know. I still like that one of Dispel. Maybe cut another Remand. Just one Remand. I don't like Remand in like matchups that sometimes just go to top decks. Yeah, so let's cut all the remands, especially on the draw. Keep the 4th Felidar Guardian because it's card advantage. Saheeli is a bit harder to protect, I guess. Keep the one Dispel. But yeah, let's run it back. Let's take a look at our opener here once we get it. We can decide if we want to keep our hand. This matchup is pretty interesting. I know it's gained a lot of popularity because there's this one person on Magic Online who's been doing really well with it. 2 Spreading Seas Saheeli, that's definitely a keep. So I'm gonna keep. Also, we have plains and islands, so Blood Moon's not a problem. So I'm pretty happy with this hand. Our opponent keeps their hand, but yeah, this deck. Someone on Magic Online, I believe, has gotten like 18 trophies with it, which is insane if you think about it. I mean, it's a ton of playing, but it's a lot of consistency as well. It's very similar to Benny Hills and his Blue-White Control performance last, quote unquote season of the league. So I think this Mardu deck has something to it. It's got hand disruption. It goes wide. It's really hard to necessarily hate. So it's pretty cool. With that said, I do think we're favored in a matchup like this. We just have more ways to grind out value from our opponent. And then we have kind of like this instant win that they have to respect. So seeing them fetch basic Swamp makes me think that they probably sided in Blood Moon. I'm just going to go ahead and lead on this Flooded Strand. Again, that's kind of awkward because we want to cast both Anger and Supreme Verdict. So maybe we can't respect... Maybe this just is supposed to get a Hollowed Fountain. Yeah, our opponent goes Young Pyromancer here. Yeah, that's awkward, right? This might be fixing their mana a bit, but I don't want them to start going off with it. And they don't get a swamp here, which is also interesting. Here, I'll just cut off their swamp. Maybe they don't play 2 swamps. If they don't play 2 swamps, they probably don't play Blood Moon, but I could be totally wrong there. They could just be saving a fetch and a Blood Crypt here. Could be another Pyromancer. Alright, got a white source at least, which means that Lingering Souls is online, sure. Snapcaster Mage, not a bad draw. I'm going to go ahead and... I'm actually going to use that. Let's lead on Serum Visions here. Path is not great. I don't think I need an extra Saheeli right now. I might get punished for that. Yeah, I didn't have to. Yeah, I didn't have to. Oh, yeah, that was dumb. So they don't have black mana right now, but I don't want to keep spot removal and try to hit this Lingering Souls one at a time. Or I should not yield. Yeah, because I can interact with Path. But our opponent's probably looking for a mana source here. So they discarded Blackleaf Clips, which probably means they drew a black mana. Again, I'm not gonna Path to Exile their Spirit right now. I think that's pretty bad value. Here they probably get a black source. Yep. Thoughtseize. Interesting. That's fine. Like I said, they can take Snapcaster. That's the most value card in my hand. But they take Saheeli. They're very scared of the combo, especially because they have no interaction, which makes a lot of sense. They can't flashback Lingering Soul, so their clock is a bit low. And now we can just dig with Snapcaster Mage for actual value cards. Because I think that's how we're going to win this game ultimately. Spreading Seas. That's even better than Snapcaster Mage targeting Faithless, or targeting Serum Visions. Yeah, that's fine. That's such a good draw here. Helix is not bad, but now we can start going for the burn plan, right? We can go end step Helix their face, and then on their end step again, snap Helix. 3 mana. Oh, sure. They still have Faithless Looting in the graveyard, that's right. They have 2 Faithless Lootings too, so they have a lot of opportunities to find black mana here. So I definitely didn't it's not game over. It's not they're completely playing off the top of our deck here for sure. So maybe playing this Helix is a little aggressive. Maybe saving that Snapcast. Oh, double. I guess discarding 2 black cards when you have no black mana makes a lot of sense. Alright, we get hit for 2 here. Opponent passes. Yeah, I like just going snap Serum Visions here. Start digging for things to do. Saheeli's not bad. Bolt is actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to keep that on top, oddly enough, right? Because if they don't respect if they start shocking themselves to get black mana here. Alright, there's another Faithless Looting. Because we can represent 3 to face, Bolt is another 3, and then Saheeli downtick on Snapcaster Mage is another 3. So that brings them down to 1. If they fetch even once, they should be pretty dead. Especially if they try to race. They're even more dead if they try to race. I don't even think... Yeah. Like, if they try to race and they tap out, so they discard, again, 2 black spells. Pretty unlucky, but now they're out of Faithless Lootings and they're playing off the top of our deck. Their deck, excuse me. Alright. Getting attacked for 2 here. Does our opponent tap out? They play a fetch. Alright. Our opponent is about to go down A lot of life. They go down to 7. So I think they're dead. Yep, Lingering Souls. Yeah, I believe they're dead. There's no need to get greedy here with Saheeli -2. We can just go red, Saheeli, tick up, bottom, lightning bolt. And that's game. All right, thanks for watching the third match here with Jeskai Saheeli. We beat Mardu Pyromancer. And stay tuned for the fourth match. I'll see y'all very, very soon.